Welcome home all. Welcome to SuperMex Nation. It is Friday. It has been 1 week. Cheap date night and tag that track in the evening. So I'm kind of solo. I'm solo tonight. Swainbo, my usual crime partner on the Fridays, we're going to have to work something out because this guy, I mean, he's literally, I got to be careful with it. Nowadays, everything's touchy, right? I was going to say he's a Jamaican man. He's got like 19 jobs, and even that you got to be careful of. But he really does have like 20,000 jobs. So he teaches at, in the K through 12 system. He has his own school that he teaches at, and they've started up again. Central Unified officially is back on program, and most schools at this point have started again. So Swainbo's back in the swing, and his kids are all out of the house, like I am now too. I don't like using that empty nest term. I never did dig on that too much. But anyway, Swainbo's kids are all out and off in the world doing their thing one way or the other, and so are mine. So we kind of have that, that good, dad done thing, in common. And but he does have other gigs in addition to his regular gig, which is the teacher, the phenomenal teacher that he is. I hope he's not listening, because I don't want to hear him complimenting him too much. But he's a hell of a teacher. And he was a hell of a leader, by the way. He was a hell of a leader in education. And I'll say it to the day I die. He stepped out of administration because he didn't like what was going on in terms of just playing the game. And the dude actually stepped out and went back into the classroom on principle, because he was a principal. There you go. There's my wordplay for the day. Have love for my wordplay, right? So Swainbo actually stepped back out of, after working his way up into administration, and went back into the classroom because he did not like philosophically and on principle where the district was going with administration and how he was expected to conduct himself as a leader on his site and on his campus. And I got to tell you, that's nothing but, you could tell, obviously, I've got a lot of respect for the dude. He is legit. He is what education should be, at least in terms of leadership. And unfortunately, he's no longer in leadership. See how that works? People want better politicians. The good people don't run for political office anymore because they don't want to get dirty. It's the same thing in education and in other governmental systems, as a matter of fact. And that's kind of what you get. So anyway, Swainbo, we're going to have to work out when we can or when we cannot. But, no question, he's locked in. He will be with me whenever he is available, and I'm going to make some time scheduling so we can get him on, because here's the thing. He's not just knowledgeable in education. He's just a sound and all-around good perspective person to have for you. He doesn't see things strictly from a political blinder, left or right, middle, whatever. He sees things from a right and wrong perspective, and I think we've started that, very, very beginning, going back now a number of years now since we started. I view things on a right and wrong continuum. It's your choice to decide whether that's left or right for you or of you. But I have noticed a disturbing trend that's becoming more and more exacerbated. Insert joke, insert comma, as you see fit, as you need to. But it's almost like, okay, if I'm not left enough for somebody that's an extreme, left or liberal person, because they mean a lot of things right now. It's a lot of different things. Then automatically I'm not liberal enough, or I'm too conservative, or I'm right-wing. I'm not joking about that. I've heard that, okay? And on the other end, I got this a week or two ago, that I'm left because I'm not right enough on another issue. Therein lies the problem, ladies and gentlemen. We're making everything a right and left issue and not a right and a wrong issue, because I quite literally see things through that filter first. There are right and wrong issues. Some of them we're going to deal with tonight, by the way, for tonight. It's not like it's a super heavy show in terms of the thought. It's just relevant points and relevant issues to keep yourself aware of. But I really see these as a right and wrong issue. If you want to politicize them and make them right or left, then that's your choice. And I support you entirely. I'd gladly go fight and die again if I had to support your right. You're American. You're free to choose. But I will say this and state openly, by no means will I alter, deviate, or change my pattern or program based on the fact that it's not what you want to hear. Sorry. It's a free country. You don't have to stay. You can leave. You can go somewhere else, because, as I've said before, and I've been saying this for over a year now, there are plenty of other places you can go to hear exactly what you want. I'm not that. If you do agree with me, or you find common cause with me, then, ladies and gentlemen, that is absolutely a good thing, and that's what I like. However, I don't want to live, I think the homeboy Steve Moyer said this one time, I don't want to live in a world where everybody's the same. Where's the fun in that? There really isn't. Okay? But it is about treatment. It's about mutual respect. It's about some minimum standard of professional courtesy. Some minimum standard of professional courtesy. Treating somebody the way your parents should have raised you, to treat others with respect, regardless of what they are or what they are not, whether they're like you or not, etc. That's a simple calculation for me. Right and wrong issues, and that's kind of what I've got keyed up for you tonight. And I think there's simple issues. There are right and wrong issues. Some of them have been with us for quite a while. Some of them are current. Some of them not so much. But they are issues that are needing to be addressed and needing to be looked at with a critical eye. And I'm going to say it tonight, and I'll just do it, okay? Because I shut down the page last week. I didn't like the tone and tenor and the direction that was going. A lot of bombarding, a lot of ganging up, a lot of if you're not like me, then you're wrong. You know, there's some simple stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. 1 + 1 = 2. If you're saying it equals 3, then you're wrong. Okay, you're wrong. If you tell me 1 + 1 is adding up to 3, then forgive me if I look at you crazy when you tell me that it's actually 3 and not 2. Because we have a lot of that going on right now too. People are interpreting entirely different one perspective of an aspect of information, and they're interpreting them in entirely different ways, simply because of their political viewpoints or the tribe that a tribe called Quest that they hang out in, right? There's a funny joke for some of you that might get that. But that is quite literally part and parcel of what the problem is that is skewing our mentality or our direction in how we go forward with addressing real issues that need to be solved, that we've not solved, because clearly they're still here. If we had solved them, they wouldn't be still plaguing us today. Okay? And those are some of the ones that, we'll quite literally get to, for right now. So here's where we go. So this is what I want to do. Some of you caught and you knew that I was not just visibly, but if not emotionally, but societally moved and changed in direction, because I think most of you guys that have been with me or that do watch the show, and by the way, those of you that watch the show are not always the same that watch or that pop off on the Facebook page. They're two separate entities. One is supposed to support the other. That's this, okay? That's a direction for me. Okay, but those of you that have been with me for quite some time and a little bit, you kind of know this, right? If I see something, then I'm going to bring it up, and I'm not going to care if you like it or love it. I'm going to see it as I see it, and I'm going to give it out to you. But remember and bear in mind that I've never told you to go vote for this person or that person. I've never done that. Never done that. And as long as I have that ability, I will continue to conduct myself in that ethical fashion, because that is a code of ethics on my part. I don't want to have to tell you, go do this and go do that. And by extension, please don't watch because you're coming to me for that direction. Oh, how should I vote? Maybe I should go listen to SuperMex. No. Listen. Factual information. Don't let outside influence skew your view of what should be facts. 1 + 1 still has to add up to 2. Even if somebody doesn't want it to add up to 2 because it doesn't fit their narrative, doesn't suit their need, or doesn't fit in the framework of their own selfishness and what they need. Again, insert joke here as you see fit. You're supposed to take information, and with a good American mind, hopefully you got a good American education. Don't want to insert joke there, but you're supposed to interpret and make your decisions for yourself. And I will say I've done a hell of a job of speaking truth here, even when you don't want to hear it, and telling you what I feel, what I believe, and then you internalize that, and then you make a decision that is best for you and yours. I have never done counter to that. I don't plan on changing that anytime soon. You guys know the rule. It's a little too late in the game for me. Not going to do that. So some of the ones that we will touch on that I think and that they are bothering me a little bit. This is going to be it should be an easy night tonight. Should be an easy night tonight. Depends. You never know, right? In today's toxic socio-political climate, that's on the page, by the way, if you don't know that. That's why this page started. That's why this show continued, to clean up the toxic socio-political climate. A little bit of a mouthful, but a necessary mouthful. Okay? For those of you guys old enough, you got to know you're going to get that castor oil, right? The spoon. And you got to suck it down. You don't want to, and it's nasty, and it tastes, but your mom's going to make you take that medicine. Your mom is going to make you take that medicine. In a way, definitely on the political end, if not the social and the cultural, the artistic, the entertainment, etc. Definitely not those so much. But on the political, I've got that castor oil for you. You may not like it, but you know you need the medicine. Okay? If at the very least, even if you do not agree with me after we're done with whatever that issue is, you'll at least be able to look me in the eye and respect the fact that you know that I'm telling you the truth, not an untruth. And maybe you learn what I am that is not quite what you are. You want to solve problem, you want to solve issue? Understand the people around you, not just yourself. Don't hang out with people, just parrot everything that you hear and you say. Open yourself and expose yourself to newer and different. One quick digression before we get into the meat and the body of tonight's evening. Now that I've said that, I'm going to share a little bit of a not necessarily an epiphanious moment, but some crystallization for me personally. So you know, as I've perpetrated and tried to get you to understand, I do believe that it's important and incumbent on us to go live, to go expose, to go do, to expose yourself to different people, to expose yourself to different places, different perspectives, different ideas, and different, not necessarily jobs, but avocations and gigs. And here's where I go. So yesterday I was with some people. They are Windsong Production, and I was at their studio, and we did a shoot for a commercial. In full disclosure, because I do not lie, I don't know if it was like a nervous or anxious, tension on my part. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to do it good. I wanted to do it right. I wanted to be good at this, and it actually concerned me that I might not be able to do it good. And I'll say it on record. I don't think I did it as, at 100%, not just for me, but just for what I wanted them to see or what I wanted them to get. I don't feel I did. Full disclosure. You heard me. It's on record now. I think I did okay. A big thank you to a young lady named Elida Avina, who coached me and directed me, produced me, or whatever. Is that all good, KP? All of the above? Coached, I guess, for me, because I'm in the coaching world, right? But she walked me through, read Spanish for me, because the commercial's in Spanish, by the way, and some of you guys are going to get a kick out of that. Yes, I do speak some Spanish, not perfect, but I do. So she walked me through the process. She recited, and she broke down, she enunciated, she helped me cognitively get past my struggle with being able to do these lines, and some of them were some difficult words. Instantáneamente, that means instantly in Spanish, and that was a hiccup for me. I had a little bit of an issue with that. I'll say it again because now I kind of got it. Instantáneamente. That was it's more than a few syllables, and it was hard, specifically in the middle of a long line, and then I had to have the breath to do that. So my point being is this: I put myself in a difficult position, and it wasn't optimal. It wasn't 100. All right, I'm creeping on a half century of life. And I've always said, I don't want to get to a point in my life where everything's just easy and everything is just taken care of for you. That's not how you grow. That's not how you cognitively, intellectually develop and further yourself as an individual. I honestly and fundamentally believe that. And by the way, research bears me out. Research bears me out. But it was a good time yesterday. So a big thank you to Elida Avina, Byron, the guy who runs the whole show at Windsong, Joel, who's the one that brought me back from the first side bit that I did with the commercial, on a commercial, Jesse Irwin, Christina, the gal that I joked with her, I'm a makeup virgin. I've never had makeup on my face ever, my entire life, until this young lady put some makeup on me for the camera. I don't even do it for here, by the way. So I don't do makeup. I'm not doing that like a machismo thing. I just haven't had the need. And I've been fortunate and blessed, thank my mom and my pop, for good genetics, Like I said, I'm creeping on a half century. Not too much in terms of, visible crow's feet and the other. I think I'm doing okay other than loss of some hair. But everything else is functioning really damn good. Living a good life at, like I said, creeping on a half century. But I want to thank those people for doing everything they could to make sure that I felt like I was going to be as good as I can be. Because I'm on record as saying I don't think I was. When I did have a talk with Joel afterward, he told me that that's not bad, that's good, because I actually give a damn and I want to be good. And that's it entirely. I want to be good. And so, larger perspective for all of this, I enjoyed what I was doing. I'm enjoying what I'm doing here with you. I do enjoy being on the camera. I've had more than a few friends tell me the camera's not exactly an enemy to me. It is a good medium for me to discuss, disperse, and discuss with you information. I do like it. I do like it, for lack of something better. So, little sidebar for those of you guys more my age, and even for those of you guys that are younger, don't ever get stagnant. Don't become static. Place yourself in difficult positions. Place yourself in experiences that you've not experienced before, because that's quite literally what keeps this big thing we call life fresh. We could do Prince there, right? This big thing called life. I'm here to tell you, there's something else. The afterworld. A world of never-ending happiness. You could always see the sun, day or night. I'm going to do the whole song. Anyway, that's from Mike Cruz, if you're watching. That dude's a big Prince fan. Anyway, so keep putting yourself in positions that force you to grow. I don't give a damn if you're 20 or 80. Does not matter. That's how you keep it fresh. That's how you stay young. That's how you stay active and stay alive. The body is a sleeve that we wear. For those of you guys that are younger, you know what a sleeve is, right? Okay, that's a sleeve that we wear. But it really is about the gray matter upstairs and what you do with it to dictate. That dictates how you go forward and how you live your life. Okay, there's my piece for today. I hope everything's good for you guys. Like I said, I really enjoyed my time with Windsong Productions yesterday. And I have to give lastly a big shout out to my homeboy, Kefet. I kind of got it right. KP, my homeboy, he's the one that's getting me into this world of entertainers. And I don't want to be an entertainer per se. I want to be informative, right? At least for the show. But there is that other aspect of me that you guys don't know about. I do enjoy that. I do love having a good time with people. I love watching somebody feeling better about their life because I did something that either got them to laugh or to think. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a scary thought, right? Not all movies are comedies. Not all movies are satires. We could be those Greeks, right? Drama, satire, comedy, all the above, from the ancient Greeks. So thank you to all of the above. Really did appreciate it, and I will do more. There's no question in my mind that I'm going to want to do, and I definitely have a feeling that there's going to be want for more. Not the greatest on the planet, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't think I had something to offer. I definitely do. Okay, so here we go. Let's get to some heavy stuff, but in the short term. Okay, so we've gone, I think tomorrow. Tomorrow will be roughly 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And then 3 prior to that, but 2 weeks since the El Paso and the Dayton shootings. And don't get me wrong, we've had some others. There have been some other. The cop shooting in Philadelphia the other day, I was like, come on, man. 6 cops. I don't think any of them died. Fortunately, prayers to their families, the cops in Philadelphia that were shot at and hit. I think, if I'm incorrect, I'll retract later, but I think they all survived. Blessings to them. Thanks to big love for their families, obviously, because they didn't lose anybody. So that was recent. But those 2 shootings a couple weeks ago, the Dayton shooting and the El Paso shooting, and then the week prior to that, I believe it was on the Sunday at the Gilroy Garlic Festival, there were 3 slaughtered, killed by one guy at the Gilroy Garlic Festival, and there was a 6-year-old and a 13-year-old. I did post that on my page. What I was going to say a little prior, but those of you guys that have been with me know that I've always acknowledged in these mass shootings the victims, never brought any attention or aggrandizement of any kind to the killers. It's about the people that were lost, not the evil that was done. And I've always done that. And I'll say it here. For some of you that might be questioning, I'm going to cut you off right now. There have been a lot of shootings. And last I checked, the bullet isn't the bullet isn't coordinated or programmed for color or ethnicity. A bullet's going to hit you and it's going to kill you. Whether you're white, black, blue, brown, or green, it does not matter. Okay, and I watched, there was a guy, one of the El Paso survivors. The dude has literally been like camped out at the site where his wife was killed. They've been together a long time. They're an older couple. And the dude almost, made me bust a tear because, he said this is the love of his life. They were inseparable. She was the only family he had. And I was like, oh, damn, man, that hurts. But that's all ongoing. That's now. And so let's get to the skinny of it. I said there were two topics, right? There was the issue of weapons, and there was the issue of the reason why race or race hate. Different, and I know it's different for the Dayton guy than it is from the El Paso guy. And I think even a little different from the Gilroy guy. That'll all flesh out, and you guys will get the information on that. But I thought the simplest, okay, those are harder problems to solve. I really do believe that. Those are societal issues that we have to face each other, and that's why I raised the damn issue in the first place. Those are hard issues, okay? But let's go to the one that I think, ladies and gentlemen, should not be that difficult. I really don't believe this should be that difficult. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm a vet. And I'm not just a vet without too much of the hardness for other vets, but I'm an infantry vet. I was trained on assault weapons. I was trained on assault weapons specifically. That was my job. And everybody in my family, infantry. We're the first line. We're the guys with the rifles marching into the mess. Okay, so I'm a Second Amendment guy. I'm a First Amendment guy. But there are caveats, and I've said this more than a few times, and I'm going to reiterate for strength and for clarity. You cannot yell fire in a fire. Apologies. You cannot yell fire in a crowded building, okay, because now your right to free speech, yelling fire, if that is your right to free speech, now impinges on the safety and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness of all those people around you. And you can be prosecuted for that. So the minute your rights impinge and infringe on the rights of your fellow Americans, then you begin to lose those rights. I think generally everybody understands that. We all understand that. You get your rights and your freedoms so long as you're not harming or hurting other people. That's the understanding. There's no blanket whatever saying, this is your right and you can do whatever the hell you want. No. The social contract. Go back to Hobbes and Locke. For those of you guys that are that schooled or that educated, go back to Hobbes and Locke, that social contract where we as people give our rights and our freedoms to a government or a governing body. Those things are predicated on we give you a little bit, so you give us in return. We give you a little bit of our freedom and our trust, so you can protect our freedoms and our trust. So you can protect us from others that may do us harm. Foreign and domestic, ladies and gentlemen, both foreign and domestic. And I want you to be crystal clear there, both foreign and domestic. The Constitution makes no distinction one way or the other about saying, okay, that's just foreign, those are the only things you get rights to protection from. No. Both foreign and domestic. So what's my point? My point is two weapons, okay, and this is where I'm at. And I kind of heard a lot of you out. I got a lot of good messages from some of you that I really trust to be honest and not make it a political game, a political kicking ball, because that's the reason why we don't have any kind of common sense legislation, because it's political, right? So let's cut through the chatter and get right down to the meat of the bones. These are the things that I kind of got out of it. I've already stated on air that as of right now, and I want you to be crystal clear with this, as of right now, there are already 2 bills that the House has passed and that are sitting, waiting for Mitch McConnell and the Senate to pass. One of them specifically should be an easy one. It's an easy one. It's about background checks, about stringent or more stringent universal background checks. This goes to that point about yelling fire in a crowded building. Okay, not everybody should have a weapon in their hand. You got some whack job, whether they're lucid or not in intellectual thought, or whether they just have hate in their system and they just want to go blow somebody away. That's the kind of person that should not be getting a weapon, right? Now, the counter argument, and I've heard this from both my friends on the left and the right, where, well, you can't stop everybody. But damn it, I don't want to hear that. Let's be clear on that. Oh, you can't stop everybody. Does that mean you don't try? Because that quite literally is status quo. The state in which, literally translated for you, status quo. The state in which we are now. You can't stop everybody, therefore don't try. I made the case last week. Why not try and maybe save even one life? Is that not of value? Is that not of value to you? It is to me. It is to me, blatantly to me. So here's the point. There are two bills right now that have been sitting on the desk of Mitch McConnell in the Senate. It just needs to pass the Senate. It goes to the president. He signs it. Boom. You have much more stringent and a better universal background checks to try to get people that don't deserve to have killing weapons in their hands, so that maybe we prevent another disaster, maybe we prevent another slaughter. I don't think that's a lot to ask. I think that's easy. That's really easy. But lo and behold, we're going on 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, since El Paso and Dayton, and going on 3 weeks to Gilroy. And I can go on and on and on. Parkland. The people at Parkland were bringing up this issue again because, here we go, there were promises made after the Parkland massacre, and nothing has happened. And they're saying that they're not going to do anything until they come back in session in another month. Do we need to see another slaughter between now and then? Because let's face it, whether you want to hear it or not, whether you want to admit to it or not, can anybody look me in the eye with a straight face and tell me that they can honestly tell me they don't think that another massacre or shooting will happen between now and then? Not anybody in America can make that claim to me. Not anybody in America can look me in the eye with honesty and clarity and real patriotism and tell me that no, there won't be any more shootings like that until we get back in session to Congress and they pass a damn bill. You can't tell me that, because you know it'd be a lie. And it might be easy for you guys off camera when you're not with me, or you're on Facebook popping off, to me. But when you sit in front of me and you look me in the eye, it gets really difficult to lie to me. Really difficult. That's why some of you probably don't want to sit with me personally, because I'll call you out and I'll look right through you and call you a liar. I won't do anything to you other than shame the hell out of you for lying. Okay? Hopefully none of you are that. Hopefully you can all understand and acknowledge that if we pass nothing, then we will stop nothing. It's that simple. There, ladies and gentlemen, from the top of the hour, there's my recitation and my run back to you in this lesson plan of the night. 1 + 1 = 2. Don't tell me it equals 3. I'm going to slap that number out of your hand and say no good. 1 + 1 is equaling 2. It's that simple when it comes to weapons. If we do nothing, we stop nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that is the state in which, status quo, we are in right now. And that bothers the hell out of me. And if I'm wrong for it, or if you don't want to hear it, ladies and gentlemen, it's a free country. You don't have to listen. You don't have to be on the page. But I'm still going to do it. Okay? So let me give you a little more. I have stated openly, I don't know how they do it, and I was honest about that too. I genuinely do not know. It's not going to be easy. But I do know this for a fact. I don't want to see some young nuthead running around with an AK, an AR-15, or other type of assault weapon with a 100-round drum spraying people. That's a hell no. Let's not equivocate here. That's a hell no. That's simple to you. We don't need little guys running around with assault weapons and a 100-round drum for ammunition. Unnecessary. For the first time, or going back now, because I've been leaning that way, I'm moving that way, there needs to be some type of assault weapon legislation. I threw this out because it's a little different. You say ban, and it starts scaring the hell out of a lot of people that have weapons. I get that part, because I have friends that have weapons. How about this? How about let's categorize or classify assault weapons differently than we do handguns? And differently, and you're saying, okay, it's assault, I get it. Okay, but let's make a distinction in saying this type of assault weapon with this kind of capacity, this kind of magazine, this kind of rapid fire, let's make that different than these other weapons. Because now I think the legislation becomes more clear, because we're still not all there, by the way. We do have something of assault weapons ban, right? Okay, there are things you can and cannot buy. The guy in Gilroy bought his weapon in Nevada, by the way. But we need to have consistency throughout the country. That's one thing that's for sure. There are states' rights issues, and then there are American issues. And I think this needs to be an American issue, because it is an American plague. So I'm not totally cool with assault weapons in the hands of young people. Interpret that how you need to see fit, but we need legislation somewhere. Okay, and this is one the little Yang dude threw me, and I'm beginning to like little Andrew Yang. This guy was busted a move, and media will cover everything, right? Andrew Yang was dancing yesterday. I can't remember what it was one of the slides, I can't remember one of the dances. He was line dancing, squirting, and it was like, listen to this little dude. But he brought up a good point. And I know it's not going to be easy, but I'm going to say it again. In what damn world do we as Americans live when Americans are afraid to do the hard things? Seriously. When did we give that up? When did we lose that bone in the body? When did that become our national appendix? I don't know. Because in my world, and maybe I'm wrong for it, because sometimes I am, I guess, I still think we should be trying to do that damn hard thing. Hell, run back 20 minutes. I just say, put yourself in difficulty, put yourself in difficult situations, right? I described a moment for you, from me, on placing myself in a difficult situation where I felt uncomfortable. That doesn't happen very often for me, but I did it. This should be one of those instances, right? Seriously, think about it. Andrew Yang said, the technology is there. Watch this. No Asian jokes, damn it, by the way. All right. The technology is there for biometric signatures on weapons. Okay, some are calling to register all weapons. I'm not sure where I'm at with that. I'm not saying no, but I want to see how it works out, what the plan is. I'm being honest, straight. But I do believe that the technology is there, and I do think it's feasible. Because I'm going to tell you this. If I have a weapon, say I'm a gun owner, right? And I have a weapon. Say I have a handgun for home safety. Whatever you want. I'm Joe America. I'm a vet. I believe in my Second Amendment, and I have a handgun at home. Nice little 9-round mag, and I'm good to go, right? I've got my weapon at home. And my weapon, repita por favor. I got to get better about my Spanish. That lady Alita kicked my butt, man. So I have my weapon, and that weapon is biometrically signatured to SuperMex. Okay? When it pops up on like a database, it says SuperMex weapon. There you go. Get a chuckle tonight. There's my joke. Barbara, there's my joke for the night, lady. All right, so the weapon is signatured to me, meaning when I place my hand on it, it reads immediately that this is me holding the weapon. If it is not me holding the weapon, that weapon won't function. That weapon won't function. You're saying, well, what does that have to do with? My point is that somebody getting weapons, because let's face it, the counter argument is that they're going to get weapons anyway. The bad guys. You're right. There's always a mechanism. There's always a black market, okay? But how about this? If we had weapons, if we created weapons that were signatured to an individual owner, not like can't do all of them from the past, I get that. But going forward from now on, then through inertia and over time, by deduction, it'll get harder and harder for bad guys to use weapons that belong to other people because they simply won't function. In other words, they can't shoot. They can't hurt another person. That was smart. Now, I'm not sure how it plays out. And again, full disclosure here. I'm not sure how that plays out. But I do think logically we need to think on the tech end here. Okay, we do need to think on the tech end. How can technology help us solve this issue in addition to what we need to do in legislation as a country? It's smart, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the ways that we used to think as Americans, and maybe we're not thinking the same way anymore, but we need to bring that back. Bring it back. That's important. That's critical. So that's what I heard. Register all weapons, that's a different one, or buyback program, I've heard that too. And again, I'm still waiting on all this thing. There's a lot of talk, and I did this last week. All I've heard is talk, and I've seen no action. It's been almost 2 weeks, and I've seen nothing. So that I'm a little dismayed about and not in a good mood. Okay, I'm not in a good mood about it. Because ultimately the responsibility lies on us if we don't force that action. If we don't force them to act, ladies and gentlemen, they will not act. They will not act. And then you have no production, you have no movie, you have no commercial. They will not act. That was for you, KP. I'm making a joke. Okay, so those things I'm laying on the table. I'm kind of okay with some of them, like 100% I'm with them. Others I'm not sure because I want to see how it tables out. But I'm just throwing the words out you. Background check. That's on the table right now. There are 2 houses sitting on the desk of Mitch McConnell and he can pass the damn things and move it to the president. He signs, and we got a universal background check that's much more stringent than what we have now. That's something. And I think I did see that we have almost 80 to 90% approval on background checks with the average American. And that includes gun owners, weapon owners, people that believe in the Second Amendment like me. Okay? That's easy. Now, how the hell can't you do the easy thing? I digress. Hell, I just said we can't even do the hard thing, right? Can't even do the easy. We're in trouble. We're in a little bit of trouble. Okay, background checks, assault weapons. I definitely am entertaining and would like to hear more about an assault weapon. I don't want to use the ban thing, but I would say a reclassification to make some weapons different than others, because there clearly are differences. You can't go pop off 20 people at the DMV. I actually thought about that. I had to go to the DMV the other day, and for the first time in my life, I found myself looking around, looking for egress points. No joke. If you know what egress is, egress, ingress, entering, exiting. I was looking for egress points just in case somebody walks in with a weapon. I did that. If I'm doing that, the average American's doing it, all right, because I'm a little more military-minded for the obvious reason. Biometric signatures on weapons, so that if somebody picks up your weapon or somebody gets a weapon that is not registered, they cannot fire the weapon. They can't use the weapon. It will become inoperable. And then registration of weapons and buyback programs. And there's a lot of different thought on that. I'm entertaining the thought. Now I'm going to tell you why. Some of you here may not be with me on all of those, ladies and gentlemen. You may not like one, you may not like all. But let's just do this. Let's, for the sake of being American, damn it. You want to be a patriot? Work with your fellow American. There's some patriotism. That's a scary thought, right? Novel concept, but an equally scary. Think about those things. Background checks, assault weapons, biometric signatures, and registration or buyback program. I'm entertaining all of them. But we need something. Just give me one, damn it. That's sad that I have to make that case. Give me something. Because almost 2 weeks have gone by, and 3 weeks for the Gilroy thing, and there was I don't know all the particulars, and I apologize for the Philadelphia thing. I just know cops were shot at and hit, and I think they survived, but it was by, I think, a lone gunman. This stuff is continuing. It's going on. Whether you like the reasons or not, it's happening. I don't think it's a lot to ask leadership to solve some problems or bring the number down. You and I both know, and I'm being deadly honest with you, you can't stop everybody, but if you're not trying, why the hell are you in leadership? Seriously, why are you there if you're not going to do anything? Pa fuera que no sirve. There's an old Spanish line. That means get the hell out because you're not doing the job. You're not worth it. Okay, let's move on. Those are my weapons issues. I want you talking about them. I want you dictating them. I want people discussing them without making it a damn left or right issue. This is a no left or no right. This is not a liberal conservative issue. In some cases, it's not even a Second Amendment issue. Some of these things you can do without losing your right to own a weapon. You can do some of these things and may bring a number down of kids getting slaughtered, and you're not losing the Second Amendment. I think it's easy. There I go, thinking it's easy, right? Okay, weapons. I want you actively discussing this. I want you thinking about it. Because when good minds all move in direction for common purpose, ladies and gentlemen, we have solution. Remember the show. Fact-based, never lied to you. Issue-oriented, we tackle the tough topics. And solution-driven. We actually try to solve problems here. Fact-based, issue-oriented, solution-driven. That is SuperMex Nation. Moving on. There was, it kind of flew under the radar, and that is pun intended. There was a weapon that was detonated / exploded in the Soviet, I was going to say Soviet Union. There's an old Cold War soldier for you. I went to Soviet Union before I said Russia. Man, that's bad. That's like 30 years deep. Anyway, well, it's over 30 years now, actually, 88 to 92 for me. So let me break this down and make it as simple as possible. I don't want to spend too much time here, but we actually tinkered with this type of weapon, the United States, a long time ago. 50s, 60s, in that range, when we were still really looking for edge in weapons technology. We still do, by the way. We still have the greatest weapon system on the planet, thank God for that. That industrial, military-industrial complex that some of you don't like. You may not like it. Watch this. But it keeps your ass safe at night. How about that? Military, and I guess I'm deep state. I'm going to go so deep, not going to come up for air. Military-industrial complex stuff. That's why we have the weapons we have. That's why we are the #1 power on the planet when it comes to lethality in weaponry and in warfare. Okay, so there's this weapon. It's not a nuclear warhead missile. It's a cruise missile that is nuclear powered. What's the distinction? Here's the distinction. It's not that difficult. I think you guys kind of get it. Instead of it being a missile that launches and then hits something and explodes and it's a nuclear detonation, okay, when it hits, nuclear destination finds its target. This weapon is actually nuclear powered. Powered. The engine is nuclear. The device that powers the weapon that moves the missile is nuclear. That's what they're tinkering. You're like, well, why would you do that? Well, because the ability for it to move, with nuclear power, obviously everything scales up, right? So fast, it could slow. I mean, the way they described it was it could slow down and cruise under radar systems and hit different places multiple times and stay up because it could be powered indefinitely. Nuclear power. It's not a one-shot forgetting, you're done thing. It's a put it up and you continue to use it thing. Okay, we don't have it anymore. We never fully developed because it wasn't practical. Okay, but that's the type of weapon that Vladimir Putin is experimenting and playing with, and a couple others, by the way, and I'll bring those to you as time goes on. Again, you do know you come here, and I'll give you foreign policy like very few other places will. That's not an exaggeration anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I've lived a life and learned a life when it comes to foreign policy and the United States. And I will say I'm more expert than most, including some of our Congress people. They know other things, I know these. Okay, so be mindful because that thing exploded and they're not telling us the whole story. It initially said it killed 2 people, but it's more, like 7 or 8. And then it made an area in Russia, Ninotsk, I can't remember the name, Ninotska or something like that, but it made that area nuclear toxic. Just like the Chernobyl thing back then, that was a reactor, that's different. But this thing, where it detonated, that area is now nuclear. Half-life, right? I want to get too geeky on you, but now that area, that's nuclear forever, at least in our existence, because it'll outlast us. Be mindful of that. Putin is not slowing down. The dude is still trying. Sphere of influence porn. I did a lot of thinking about this, and I felt I need to bring it out. Okay, what I see right now in terms of our foreign policy, and we're going to finish with this on the night so we can get to our tag that track. I'm putting it out there in advance so you guys are mindful, and I've told you this before. Be mindful when I give you a legitimate, factual, issue-oriented problem, potential problem, because it's coming later. Okay, it's coming later. And if it doesn't, I'll be the first one to say thank you. I'm hoping that it does not come later. But our foreign policy, at least since the fall of the Berlin Wall and a restructuring of world order in terms of a Cold War, and there's a book I might read, Cold War Hot Peace, good wordplay, Cold War Hot Peace, where we don't have a defined, clearly articulated, comprehensive, synthesized vision of what our foreign policy is as a country anymore. We really don't, ladies and gentlemen. So watch. Oh, he's going to politicize it. You're damn right I'm going to politicize this one. It's real simple. No president has gotten this right, our foreign policy. You can quote me on that. No president has gotten this right, caveat, be careful, since the breakup of the Soviet Union. Since the breakup of the Soviet Union. That's probably why my Freudian slip hit you a little early. That was clear, that was understandable, that was identifiable, that was an articulated vision that every president understood since Harry Truman after World War II. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, they got the keys to the office, they walked in, everybody knew, every president knows that this is our enemy, this is what we have to do. We got to promote democracy, we got to stop communism, we got that, we knew that. We knew that the Soviet Union would do nothing more than wipe us off the map if they could. We knew that we were the advocates for democracy, loosely titled word now, freedoms, freedom of speech, scary thought. The media is our enemy now. Okay, if you're not with me, you're against me. Wrong answer. Okay, there are freedoms, fundamental freedoms that we have that we are the best arbiter for. We are the best advocate for. We are the best example for other countries on this planet. Remember a time when they all wanted to be like us? Okay, because it was simple and obvious. We had Marilyn Monroe, we had James Dean, we had Elvis in Germany. Those things are still up, by the way. But they wanted to be like us. We were the model. We were the model for what representative democracy, what a true republic looks like in representation of its people. Okay? That was understandable, that was identifiable, that was comprehensible. After the breakup of the Soviet Union, stuff changed. And nobody with the $1 million answer came in and said, this is how we're going to do it from now on. So much so, now watch, I'll probably get called too far left by some and too far right by others, and I know I'm doing what my intent and my plan is, right? No president, Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, none of them, not a damn one of them, have put forward a vision, a clearly articulated vision of where our foreign policy should be, and more importantly, where the vision is supposed to go. I don't see it. And I'd love to have that argument with any of you at any time. Because if you can show me, then I'm missing something big. We don't have it. And so all it is, and you're going to like this line because then you'll understand. It'll click the button, the light in your head, right? Se aprendió el foco. That means the light went on. We have hot spots. We have things that we put out. We have things that we flare up. And we're bouncing all over the planet trying to figure out what we're doing, right? Or like some of you do, and I'll say it's a flat wrong answer. Let's just build a wall and hide behind it and never get involved with anybody else. Wrong answer. It's advocation of leadership. Cannot handle it here. Will not do that. That's, by the way, it doesn't go anywhere. So here's my point to you. Sphere of influence foreign policy. If our foreign policy is to say, Russia, you have that location, China, you have that location, America has this location, I won't bug you, you do whatever the hell you want over there, you don't bug me, I'll do whatever the hell I want over here. It doesn't work. It's been done. There's your history lesson for the day. Some of you that know history should understand that. You want to know why? It was done in the 19th century and is done periodically in different forms throughout our history as a humanity. As a humanity. What happened after that sphere of influence mentality after the 19th century? We had World War I. And then another reaction flare-up, World War II. That mentality leads us back to what? We have our area, our sphere of influence. We tell people to do this. We're the big dogs in this area. Guess what happens? Pretty soon you run out of space, you run out of living room, you run out of the ability to express who you are as population increases, as demands for resources increases, as economies shrink, contract and protract. You have nowhere to go. And then you come outside of your sphere looking for another. And guess what? They've been doing the same damn thing over there in Europe, in Asia, and in other locations. That was World War I. That's what led to World War I. Now, we've been pretty damn good with the institutions that we set up after World War II so that we have never had another World War II. Some of you are too damn young to understand the significance of this. I'm educating you. You want another world war? Keep going down this path where we wink, wink, nod, nod at Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping or Mohammed bin Salman. Yeah, go ahead and butcher people that have lived in the United States. Go ahead and butcher them. We're good. Just don't come in my backyard. Make sure you're buying my weapons. No, that's not foreign policy. That is not good foreign policy. My last thought to you, because we're going to flesh this out over time. Here's my point. It's an anachronism. I mean, it's ancient. It's done. It's been done, and it didn't work. You need to know your history. If you know your history, you've seen this playbook before. It doesn't end good. It will not end good for anybody, by the way. Anachronism, and most important, it's a candy-ass policy substitute for leadership. Some of you, my military friends, you'll appreciate the title and the term. It's a candy-ass foreign policy substitute for leadership. If I'm left or right because of that, I really don't give a damn. I advocate for leadership because the United States We were, we should be, we need to be leaders. Leaders. You can't lead if you leave. Remember that. You cannot lead if you leave and you turn your back. That's not what I do. That's not who I am. That's not the way I was raised. That's not George Washington. That's not Abraham Lincoln. That's not Teddy Roosevelt. That's not John F. Kennedy. And that's not me. And that should be any of you. We lead, ladies and gentlemen. That's how America's great. We lead. Okay, there's plenty for you. Oh, I got one last thing. I got one for you before we get to tag that track. Can we pull up that piece, KP? Did you get it? Excellent. Okay, stay with me, guys. I have not done anything on this, and or I have, but I've not done enough. And I apologize to you. So I'm going to leave this up for a second as I walk you through this. Okay, so you see the big soldier in the center. If you know what this is, this has to do with military suicides. And this is current. This is current, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to consider this. Those of you in the page, you saw what I posted this week. We're losing our people. We're losing our people at a disgusting clip. Okay, we have lost more people to suicide in the military, in the branches. We have lost more military personnel to suicide than we have to active duty combat in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now that is staggering. That is staggering. Look up at the little dude with the dog tags. Who commits suicide in the military? 95% are male. 85% of the military is male. So 95% of males, it's guys. Okay? 95% are enlisted. What does that mean? It means they're not officers. Okay? They're not the guys that go to school for 4 years, then go into the Army. They're the guys that come right out of high school. They're the enlisted. Regular folks. Regular Joe and Jane America. G.I. Joe and Jane America. 95% of enlisted. That's a staggering number. 95 out of every 100 are enlisted personnel. Okay? 80% are white. That's a staggering number too. I was like, whoa, what is that? What the hell's going on there? I don't have an answer, but I'd like to find out as to why. 47% are under the age of 25. I think you get the number there. Okay, nearly half are under the age of 25. That's our young people, ladies and gentlemen. That's America's young people. Move up in the right-hand corner. 41% had received outpatient behavioral services. That means they were diagnosed already, they were seen, they knew something was wrong, and they did it anyway. They committed suicide anyway. 34% communicated the intent to die to someone. That means they warned somebody. They let somebody know. And I don't want to get too far out ahead of the skis here, but if they let somebody know, either that person didn't believe them or didn't act, and that person killed themselves anyway. That's 1/3 of all those deaths. 30% had a failed intimate relationship in the prior month. I'll speak to that in a second. 20% were prescribed antidepressants. I think we all know what that means. Yes, drugs. And, drugs aren't just the illegal kind. I don't like drugs in general, ladies and gentlemen. I don't put them in my body. Don't like it. I don't like it tinkering with the system that God created. 14% had previously injured themselves. So an indicator that something was there and that they were willing to do damage to themselves, which is an adequate indicator that if you are willing to hurt yourself, harmful to yourself, then you are not thinking correctly. I will say that. I'm not saying it's a disease, but there's something wrong there. Okay, go ahead and take it off, KP. That last one was 30% had a failed intimate relationship. 30%. Now, why am I focusing on just this? It's not that I'm focusing on anyone, but I know that one distinctly because there's a line that I like to use, and I tell people one of the most difficult jobs on the planet. Right? Here's my rationale, and somebody can come up with, but these are my two. Two of the most difficult jobs on the planet are military wives, military spouses. More often wives, because you see that it was men. 95% of men are killing themselves in service. Okay, so military wives, two toughest jobs on the planet, military wives, and watch this, a single mom. Single mom. I do believe that. I honestly believe that because I watched my mom raise 4 children on her own after my dad died when I was a little boy. So I am intimately aware of what that is. So back to this point. 30% of those cases are because of failed intimate relationships. Being in service, being a military person is exceedingly difficult on a spouse. It's very difficult. The uncertainty, the constant threat or warning or possibility that your husband or loved one, female, can be taken from you in activity or action, or going to Afghanistan or going to Iraq or going some other place in a training accident. The percentages for a military person getting killed obviously are a little higher than the average civilian. Military wives have it rough. And all I know is that when I was in the 3+ years that I was in, I saw a lot of broken marriages in the military. A lot of them. Doesn't mean they all killed themselves or committed suicide. It just meant that I knew some sergeants that had three wives. They were working on 3 wives. 3rd wife, 4th wife. Okay, and I had some commanders that had a 1st or 2nd wife. I had some that had 2 failed marriages and they didn't want to ever get married again. I knew those kind of people because being in military, especially infantry, combat arms, those types of spec ops, special operators in all branches, it's a crazy difficult life on a spouse. It's a really difficult. So I'm going to say that before I wrap up tonight. I'm bringing the issue to you. KP, can you pull up a number real quick while I'm finishing up here? At www.veterans with an S. veteranscrisisline.net. See if we can pull that number up. veteranscrisisline.net. See if it pulls that up. There's it's a page or a phone number on there. Okay, so for you guys, listen while we're doing this. Yeah, go ahead and pull it up when you need to. So I'm just talking. So it is difficult, ladies and gentlemen. This is a tough job. I'm glad that I never married while I was in service, because I was hell. I'm hell on my wife now because of the way I think. I know that for a fact. All right. There's your number. So look at the number there. Call Veterans Crisis Line. Are you a veteran in crisis or concerned about one? Notice that other number where they 30% plus actively told somebody that they were considering suicide, and then they committed suicide anyway because nobody did anything about it. Connect with the Veterans Crisis Line to reach caring, qualified responders. They're vets, ladies and gentlemen. They're fellow vets with the Department of Veteran Affairs. Many of them are veterans themselves. There you go. How to connect with the responder. There's the number 1-800-273. There's a text number. And I really like this on the side, on the far right. This free support is confidential. It's available 24/7. Serves all veterans, all service members. That includes, current, National Guard and reserves, and ladies and gentlemen, their family and friends. Thank you, KP. And their families and friends. So I've not raised enough of an issue of it, and I apologize for doing that, because it is a scary and staggering number of our people killing each other. Now, you can find all kinds of reasons and rationales, but I'm going to say this. I kind of know some of those reasons and rationale. Not that I wanted to, but I saw people that were close to doing it themselves. I saw broken homes. I saw broken families. I saw just hurt and loss. And it is crazy deep psychologically. Deep psychologically. You have the number, it's there. There are a lot of other good organizations. It's really easy. You can go Bing it or Google it, and you can find a number. If you know of a vet, if you know of a serviceman that is having difficulty, and again, those are telltale signs, ladies and gentlemen, family. They're family. If they're having issues in the family, wife, husband, and children, if there are issues there and you know it, say something, because it could lead to something ugly. And not just suicide, by the way, because there are instances where the vet or the serviceman will kill or harm others around him. And we don't want that. I think we can all be agreeable on that. Don't make this a damn left or right issue either, because I'm getting kind of tired of that. Make everything a left or right issue. This isn't a left or right issue, damn it. It's a simple wrong issue. If you know somebody, say something. What's the worst? They may not be happy with you. You raise the issue. There's that. And then there's the conscience and your underscore later. If you find out something harmful happened to that person and you chose not to act. You know why? Because good vets, that's what we do. We act. We do something. Or at least yesterday we tried to act. We tried to act. We tried to act yesterday, homeboy. We tried. I think we got there. Okay, time to wrap up. All right, let me give you what we had last week. Good night, heavy issues. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it again. If you want to make these issues left or right, you're probably not listening to the right guy. You probably don't want to be here. And please, by all means and all forgiveness, don't let me keep you here. Don't let me keep you here. You're going to break my heart if you leave. No, actually, there's only a handful of you here that would break my heart if you left me. You'd break my heart. Like Fredo. You broke my heart, Fredo. I knew it was you. I knew it was you. You broke my heart. Okay, so last week's, and I did post these on the page, by the way, so you got these on the page, and I think I'm going to start doing that from now on. When I play music for you, I'm going to post the songs after the show, so you have them into the weekend. We have a good weekend. You'll know what SuperMex is listening to that night. So I'm going to go home and hang out with my wife. We got some stuff to do to get ready for my daughter's party tomorrow, her going away party, getting ready to move to New York to attack the big world. Got some stuff to do, but we're going to have a few beers. I am. My wife drinks wine. Okay, so here we go. Last week's music. Colder Weather by the Zac Brown Band. If I Die Young by the band Perry. Wanted by Hunter Hayes. Just a Kiss by Lady Antebellum. Blue Ain't Your Color by Keith Urban. That was a great singing song. Girl Crush. Who was it last week? I wasn't the only one. One of you popped on here and said that you have a crush on her too. Karen Fairchild. Man, I got a crush on that girl. Something about that one. Definitely something about that one. So, Girl Crush on Karen Fairchild in Little Big Town. Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton. And then I threw you some classics that I do think fit. They're classics not just because of age, but they're classics in their timelessness. And those from two masters. Two Chris Christopherson, one Johnny Cash. So the first one was The Wonder by Chris Christopherson. The Wonder. The second, actually the ninth in the list was Hurt by Johnny Cash. And Tell Me One More Time by Chris Christopherson. So ladies and gentlemen, there's an album by Chris Christopherson. It's called Closer to the Bone. This was much later in his career. I think it was late 2000s. And he just sat down, kind of like what Johnny Cash did, and he did music acoustic and unfiltered, just straight, his voice and a guitar, an acoustic guitar. And it was just incredible. That has become and is becoming one of my favorite albums all time. It's called Closer to the Bone. The thought being, strip it right down to the bass, right? My voice and this instrument, and that's it. Closer to the Bone. There's other great songs on there, but those are two of my favorites. I couldn't play the whole thing. Maybe I will one of these days. But The Wonder by Chris Christopherson on Closer to the Bone. And then that last one, Tell Me One More Time by Chris Christopherson. The lyrical poetry and just the absolute mastery of his spoken word is it just staggers me to this day. And I think I mentioned to you last week, he's also a Rhodes Scholar. The gentleman's brilliant, and he's had a hell of a career in everything that he's done. He's an actor too. He's been in some great roles. Phenomenal musician, obviously. Bobby McGee. You know, people don't know that he was the one that wrote that song. Janis Joplin sang it and tore it up, but Chris Christopherson was the one that wrote it. And by the way, Chris Christopherson wrote a lot of music that ended up being great, incredible hits for other artists. But it was his spoken word. He's one of my all-time favorites. If you guys, I'll just put it out there. Chris Christopherson, he's one of my all-time favorite entertainers. He's one of the most brilliant poetic minds I think we've had, at least over the last 50 years. He's that good. I'm not exaggerating. I really feel that way. This song in particular, Tell Me One More Time, yeah, just listen to the lyrics, and it's just like, wow. This guy was thinking on 15 other levels, you know, playing with Spock and Kirk at the same time on the chessboard. Okay, I've given you a lot. Finish up tonight with this little playlist I'm gonna play for tonight with my, for my family and at home. Give you a handful here. Blow it out your speaker. All right, here we go. All right, give you a little bit because you know the deal. I got to cut off. YouTube has been butchering me lately. I've been pretty bad about it, so that's on me. So you'll see where I'm going right now. This is what I'm listening to tonight. That one's easy, I think, for most of you. Now you get the tone and the tenor of where I'm going tonight. I've got 3 oil cans of Foster's, maybe more.
She can kill with a smile, she can wound with her eyes, and she can ruin your faith with her casual lies.
All right, that one should be easy too, I hope. Maybe not for you younger guys, but guys and gals, but definitely some of my older folk. That's a silky voice. If you can't get that voice, some of these are pretty distinct, by the way. I think you guys know that. You can get them, if not off the opening bars, name that tune, you know, the opening lines, but definitely by the time we get to the vocal, you should be able to get it. Okay.
I know it's late. I know you're weary.
Yeah, that's a great song. That's for you Wismers if you're listening. That's for you Wismers. I know you guys go to those concerts. That one's easy once it's said. All right. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's 8. Too much. This one for fun. See if you get this. Okay, and then last one. And this was the one that actually got me wanting to do this little playlist. So you can see it's like there are some, there is a kind of a timeline, kind of a feel to it. But it was while I was listening to this song that I thought of the others. I gotta get that. Let me see, where's that at? And this guy was incredible, man. I mean, I don't think he, maybe not so much by today's generation, but, you know, incredibly underappreciated. Incredibly underappreciated. Most people know and they're like, oh yeah, he's good, good, good. And he's on everybody's list of really good, you know, singers. Because he's a straight vocalist. I mean, he's a great vocalist. He's not just a musician, but he's a vocalist, a master vocalist entertainer. But this is what I was listening to, and I was thinking of the song of all his great songs. This is the one that I wanted to play tonight, and this one led to all the others, by the way. All right, pause so I can get to break it up.
Honey talks, but it don't sing and dance and it don't walk. As long as I can have you here with me, I'd much rather be forever in blue jeans.
And there's just some, there's so much subtlety and nuance to the lyrics and the messaging in a lot of his songs. They get lost up in that cool voice that he's got. You know, oh man, there's just so much good there. But this is what I was listening to out of the blue, and this generated an entire list. Tonight's list, by the way, and you can tell it's just cool music, just good stuff to listen to, good stuff to drink a beer to, or a glass of wine if you're so inclined, or anything else for that matter, as long as it's not bad. You know, SuperMex don't smoke, don't do drugs. Don't really drink a lot of liquor. I just have my beer once in a while. So that's your Friday. Thank you guys for being here. I'll do what I always do, which is let you know, safety briefing, be mindful of the other and yourself, you know, and yourself. Be careful where you go. Be careful what you do. Look around. Be aware of your surroundings. Some of you guys trying to get out of the heat in Fresno, we're looking at about, what was it today, KP, about 108, 107? 107 degrees here. SuperMex ain't trying to sweat, but it does get hot. Spend time, as always. Don't listen to just your brand of talk and news, radio and television. Live, experience, go out, do things with other people. Enjoy your life, because that's what leads to good decisions. And again, as always, be mindful, be careful when you go out, and be aware of your surroundings. And I want to make sure that everybody's back here next week. Same time, same bat channel, you know the deal. All right, SuperMex Nation is enjoying, and we are out.